Hi there, welcome back to KopNoiseTV. Liverpool are in action, not this weekend, we are in action on Monday night. A third round FA Cup draw, a handsome third round FA Cup draw, you'd have to say, against League One opposition Barnsley. Now, the only thing that I don't like about this fixture is the fact that it's a Monday night. It's wet outside, it's cold, and no one wants to be outside at the moment, especially not late on a Monday night. But I'll be going to the game, so let's have a look and see what Barnsley are looking like this season. Given that Barnsley are in League One, I don't know too much about Barnsley, so I've had a little look into how they're faring up, some of their players, ones to look out for, that kind of stuff. And Barnsley's struggling at the moment, I'm not going to lie. They're in League One. They're in 17th position and they're 2 points off the relegation zone. And they've not won in the last 4 games in the league. So, on paper, you'd like to say this should be a simple task for Liverpool. On paper. We'll get into Liverpool in a bit. Looking through Barnsley's performances, looking through Barnsley's results this season, they're a really streaky team. 3 times this season, Barnsley have done back-to-back wins in the league. But then they've followed that up with either a loss or a draw. They've never been able to do anything better than 2 wins on the bounce. So, a really streaky team. They've never really been able to gather any momentum. And this just shows in where they are in the league, the fact that they're hovering just above the relegation zone. And in terms of players to look out for, there's one standout name that's on their, well, I wouldn't even say it's on their team sheet, is in their squad, and that's David McGoldrick. For those of you who are thinking, who the fuck is that? He was part of a Sheffield United team that got promoted to the Premier League in 2019. I think he was their player of the season that year. He played in the Premier League, but look, he's 38 now. I think he's only scored 2 goals in the leagues this season, so you'd like to think that he's not going to pose any threat to Liverpool. Other players which I spoke to a Barnsley fan about yesterday that could cause a threat is Reyes Cleary, a number 19, tricky left winger, and people who are thinking, again, who the fuck is that? You might have seen recently he scored a goal. I think it was away at Bradford inside his own half. It was a great goal. So they're one to look out for. And they've also got a striker, a dangerous striker that scored 11 goals this season. I think the top goal scorer in the League One this season has got 12. He's called Davies. Forgive me if I've pronounced the name wrong here. Davies Killior-Dunn is the number 40, and yeah, looks as though he's one of the more dangerous strikers in League One at the moment. So these players, well, for some of these players, this is a chance in a lifetime to come to Liverpool, to play at a stadium like Anfield. So Liverpool just need to be on their A game, really. They can't take this for granted, and Liverpool have got their own problems internally as well when looking at their squad. So let's have a look and see how Liverpool are faring up. So as you can imagine, Liverpool will ring the changes for this one, and it's twofold really. One, you want to give your kind of senior first team players a rest. You want to let players come back from injury, but on the other hand as well, Liverpool don't really have that many options in terms of being able to swap senior players for senior players. And what I mean by this is, we'll take Arsenal for example. So Arsenal at left back have Calafiori and they have Miles Lewis-Skelly. Calafiori's been the one that plays for the majority of this season, so you'd like to think that Arsenal, when they chop and change, Miles Lewis-Skelly will come into the team. Players like Madueke, obviously Saka is their main right winger, so any chance that Arteta can rotate, he would play Madueke. And you're not swapping like for like players there, but you're swapping players of a really good standard, whereas Liverpool don't have that luxury at the moment. They've got injuries all over the field. They've got, obviously, Mohamed Salah still at AFCON. So I would imagine with this that Liverpool will play I think Liverpool will play the kids. I really, really do. I think it'll be a... I won't even say a similar team to what played in the Carabao Cup against Crystal Palace earlier on in the season. I think it will be pretty much the kids that will play. And I'll get into my predicted starting lineup. But like I say, Liverpool are light on numbers. You'd like to think that Wataru Endo would get some minutes. He's not up for selection. He's still injured. The players sort of the likes of Welity Lucky, who's been on the bench for, I think, the past month or so now. He's a defender. I'd say that you're going to see probably more of those kind of players. Nalo as well, who is another centre-half, which we've seen play a couple of times already this season, and bless him, I think both times he's played for Liverpool, he's been sent off. However, he will probably, if fit, play in this fixture. So I don't think this is going to be as straightforward of an evening as what it should be. Other players that may feature, you've got Cade Gordon. I think he started an FA Cup game not so long. I thought it was last season or the season before. I think it was against Cardiff at home. I can't remember now. My memory's just not quite there anymore. It's not as sharp as what it used to be. But those are the kind of players that you would think that Liverpool will put on the field against Barnsley. And it's a shame that the likes of Jadon Danns, who I was really optimistic about this season, I thought he would have a big part to play in these domestic cup competitions. He's been out injured for pretty much all season, so unfortunately he's not going to be up for selection. In terms of goalkeeper selection, obviously Alisson won't feature. Alisson won't even be on the bench. You've got Mamadashvili or you've got Freddie Woodman, and I will probably say I think the slot will play Freddie Woodman. I really do. I think the fact that obviously we got knocked out of the Carabao early doors. Mamadashvili has had minutes in the league due to Alisson's injury earlier on in the season, so I think you might see Freddie Woodman get a game for Liverpool. Looking at the head-to-head with these two teams, this actually shocked me. So, as you can imagine, because Barnsley have been in the lower divisions outside the Premier League for a hell of a long time now, you're probably talking nearly 20 years, I dare say, something like that. So there's not that many encounters between Barnsley and Liverpool. However, the last time out, Barnsley came to Anfield in 2008, coincidentally in an FA Cup tie, albeit this one was in the 5th round. They actually beat us 2-1, believe it or not. And then the time before that, you have to go all the way back to 1997 when Barnsley were in the Premier League. And Barnsley beat us again, 1-0. And if my memory serves me right, I believe that I was at that game. So I'd have been 10 years old, maybe 10 or 11 years old. And I remember thinking at the time, looking at my dad, how the hell has this team that's just come up from the division below, I'm sure Barnsley were bottom of the league at the time as well, they've come to Anfield, the mighty Liverpool, and they've beat us. And yeah, obviously being young and not really understanding football as much, that was a sad day for younger me, let me tell you that. So Barnsley have actually got a decent record at Anfield if you want to go on previous visits gone by. But look, if Liverpool do their job and Liverpool turn up, I don't expect this to be a pretty game. I don't expect it to be a free-flowing game. Like I say, I think Arne will ring the change. I think it will be a very, very muddled, a very kind of thrown-together Liverpool side. And I think I've said this before on previous shows, but it wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool go out of this competition. It wouldn't surprise me if Slot flogs the competition like he did with the Carabao, because I think Liverpool's eggs are all in 2 baskets. Well, should we say 2? They're all in 1 basket, let's say. It's getting in the Premier, it's getting in the Champions League, making sure we secure a top 4 place in the league this season. And then if we can have a decent Champions League run on the side of that, that would be a bonus. But I think Liverpool, not just Slot, but I think as a club now, they have said, his damage limitation. Forget the fucking domestic cups. If we have a decent run, great. But as we stand at the moment, we do not have the squad to compete on 3 fronts. We just simply don't. So therefore, focus on the league, play the kids in the domestic cups, and I think we'll get one more win in the Champions League against either Marseille away or Karabakh at home, which you'd like to think we can pick up 6 points from them. That will secure us in the top 8 of the Champions League and keep us away from the playoff zone. So, yeah, don't be surprised, Reds, if this is a tough night of football. It won't be a pretty game. It'll be an interesting game, but yeah, bring it on. Let's see what Slot does with this. And like I say, let's see what the kids can do, because I'll eat my hat if Arne Slot does not play the kids for this fixture. Right, let's have a look at what I think Arne Slot will do in terms of a predicted starting 11, which took me some time, by the way, to do this one. So we're looking at compiling a starting 11 for this fixture. Honestly, I had to do my research into the academy. I had to do my research into what Arne Slot played in the Carabao Cup against Palace earlier in the season, because, as I said earlier in the video, I think this fixture will be full of the academy team and maybe sprinkled with 1 or 2 out of the first team squad. So let's have a look at what I think will be the starting 11 for Liverpool against Barnsley on Monday night in the FA Cup 3rd round. I think Woodman will get the nod in goal ahead of Mamardashvili. He's not had. I don't believe he's had any. Has he had any minutes? He might have played in the Carabao. I can't remember. Anyway, he's had barely any minutes this season, so I think he will play. I think we'll see Calvin Ramsey at right back, which I want to see Calvin Ramsey, if I'm honest. When he played again in the Carabao Cup earlier on in the season, I thought the first half he had a good game actually. He had a decent game. Second half, you could tell the fitness just wasn't there. He looked absolutely goosed, but looking forward to seeing him, because Liverpool obviously have issues at right back now, given that Conor Bradley, we suspect, is going to be out for some time. So therefore, Calvin Ramsey may have a part to play in the senior squad, whether that's on the bench or starting or coming off the bench. I don't know, but you imagine that given that Conor Bradley is going to be out now for the foreseeable, Calvin Ramsey may have a part to play there. I think Willity Lucky will play at centre-back. We've seen him on the bench for the last month or so. He's not got any minutes. However, I think he'll get the nod, and alongside Nala as well, another player that we've seen already play for the first team. He's been really unlucky in terms of getting sent off in his first 2 appearances, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if they're the first 2 or not, but in his last 2 appearances anyway, he's seen red for Liverpool. So hopefully, 3rd time lucky. I think we'll see Andy Robertson at left back. Given that I think Milos Kerkez has now solidified the shirt in that position, if you like. I think Kerkez is getting better and better every game that he plays for the Reds. So I think Andy Robertson, given that he's the vice captain as well, I think he will be the leader of this team. Midfield was tough. Excuse me. Midfield was really tough. Traynone will definitely start. We've seen him come off the bench in the last 2 or 3 games for Liverpool. He will 100% start this game. Kieran Morrison, another academy player, I think will play. And then I'm torn. I'm torn between an academy player, Michael Laffey. I think he's a local lad. Or Alexis McAllister. And part of me thinks Alexis McAllister will play. I think that Slot will maybe want a senior player on each line on the pitch, so defence, midfield, attack. So therefore, I think you've got Andy Robertson at the back. Alexis McAllister may start this game. And then the forward line, I think Rio Wingamoa will play, and I hope he does play because I want to see more football from Rio. I think he deserves more minutes. Trent Kone-Doherty, I think will play. He got some minutes in the Carabao Cup earlier on in the season against Crystal Palace. I think he will start this game. And I think up top, leading the line, we may see Federico Chiesa. Been a little bit of speculation that Juventus are wanting him back, that Liverpool are wanting around 15, 16 million for him. I don't know how much these rumours are true, but I suspect that he will start this game. And yeah, that is my thrown together predicted 11 for the FA Cup third round draw against Barnsley at Anfield on Monday night. Let me know in the comments, guys, any players who you think may start this game in terms of a score prediction. Wow. I mean, where do you even go? Is, like I say, I do think it'll be a tricky game of football. I don't think it'll be that entertaining. However, I think Liverpool will get the job done. 2-1 Liverpool. I think Barnsley will get a goal, but I think Liverpool will get the job done in normal time, and I think it will be 2-1. Right, thanks for watching the video, guys. Don't forget, as always, if you've not subscribed already, please get over to the homepage, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content and videos like this. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in a bit.